Top 10 reasons ancient Rome was a pervert's paradise. Number 10. Slave sex. It's no secret that Roman society ran on slavery. Men and women captured during military conquests were shipped all over the empire and auctioned off to the highest bidder, at which point they became the property of some aristocrat or other. And those aristocrats usually had one thing on their mind when buying a young slave: sex. See, slaves were absolutely devoid of rights in Roman law. They were part of the furniture, no better than the objects surrounding them. And just as it's technically impossible to have an affair with your bookcase, Roman law didn't consider slave sex to be infidelity. So, when Augustus outlawed adultery in 31 BC, the horny Romans did what any sex addict would do and started molesting their slaves at an unprecedented rate. Looks, gender, and even age were no barrier. The Warren Cup, for example, is a Roman goblet dated to 5 AD that sports an image of a guy casually molesting a child. In essence, being a slave in ancient Rome basically meant being a walking sex aid. Speaking of which. Number 9. Public pornography. If you think top-shelf lads mags and saucy billboards are rude, just be thankful you're not living in Roman times. Step out of a time machine in, say, 50 BC. In short, their books were like their lives: rude, sex-obsessed, and very much X-rated. Number 5. Pederasty. When talking about an ancient culture, it's very important to remember their standards are always going to vary wildly from ours. So when I say the Romans practiced pederasty, bear in mind that it was totally acceptable back then. It's only when you look back on it from our own cultural standpoint that it all seems a little, well, ooh. See, in Rome there wasn't exactly an age of consent. If you were to engage in a homosexual relationship with a free-born male, you had to wait until they were at least 12. But as far as slaves were concerned, anything went, and it usually did. Aside from the Warren Cup, we have the writings of Juvenal and Quintilian, both casually informing us that schoolmasters liked to groom young boys. Then there are the numerous laws issued on the subject, preserved to this day, to stop the practice spilling over into regular life. So
maybe as you get older and your sex drive dries up a little bit.
I always think I would have made a good priest. Do you think I make a good priest? I think I make a good priest.
Well, you make a good priest if you think the guy that made you suck his dick was a good priest. That kind of good priest.
He was a great priest. Honestly, like he was.
He was good other than that?
I've never had a better singing tutor. He was great.
Singing teacher.
He got notes out of me I didn't even know I could produce.
Well, he worked your plumbing.
Shattering the chandeliers, kind of.
But was he good outside of what he did? Like, was he a good religious scholar? Was he a good teacher?
I think he was just a parish priest. I mean,
just a fucking creep getting his dick sucked then.
He's gonna get lynched now.
How's he gonna get lynched? Do people know who he is?
I don't think so.
What's his name?
Well, I'm not saying anymore.
Well, how old were you at the time? You were a little kid, and he was like what?
You're trying to.
Was he in his 20s or 30s?
Yet another feminist strategy that you have adopted in addition to your language policing.
Trying to out pedophiles?
No, trying to go on this.
You were the one who was anti-pedophile.
I told you it wasn't the pedophilia. I was after I lost my virginity. I was in my teens. I was in my teens.
14.
I was in my teens. Something like that.
That's what you said. 14 is pedophilia, buddy. I don't know how they rock it and merry old England.
I was in my teens.
Over here in my country, in fucking where you are right now,
America. You've never seen a 15-year-old girl at any point in your life, however old you were, you've never seen a 15-year-old girl you thought was hot.
Yeah, when I was 15.
No, when you were 25. When you were 25,
I'm not retarded, dude.
When you were 25, when you were 30,
no.
You will have seen girls about 50 and you thought were hot.
No, I thought they were little kids.
No, you didn't.
I thought, damn, she's gonna be hot, but I didn't want to fuck her.
Bullshit. Like,
not bullshit at all.
Look,
you can't tell me what I was born into.
I think if you're 14...
Born like this!
You were born this way. You were born a dreary nitpicker.
Than a 14-year-old.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he's a terrible person.
No.
He certainly was.
I was a very mature 14-year-old.
Yeah. Well, in your case, he got it right. You got the right guy to molest.
It wasn't molestation.
That's absolutely molestation.
It wasn't molestation. It was perfectly consensual.
I don't think it is when they're 14.
When I was 14, trust me, I was the predator. I was the predator. Like people.
Right, you don't have to do that. Just dance around the facts.
Yeah, dangerous, but I can tell you the truth without dropping anyone in it.
Okay.
I mean, some of the boys there were very young. Very young.
And this is really recently?
I don't remember... No, like, I don't know, 8 years ago. I don't remember...
Statute of limitations.
I don't remember whether I ever met Bryan Singer or whether I even knew who he was then. But I knew other people of similar stature, as I say, and there were some very young boys around at that time. There was a lot of drugs and a lot of twinks taking drugs and having unsafe sex with older men, and some of these boys were very young.
What did you think of?
I am a pedophile. I'm not a monster. I have the traction, but I don't act on it. I am Todd Nickerson. I'm a non-offending pedophile. I have never, ever sexually abused a child. I never will. I do not look at child porn. I never will. I obey the laws. I respect the laws. I respect society's position on this. I understand it and agree with it. I am part of one of the most hated groups of society. No question about it. We are the scapegoats du jour. If you look at history, there's always one minority that seems to be the one that everybody kind of persecutes, and I think we're it. I'm campaigning for better treatment of people like me. We're non-offending pedophiles. Not all pedophiles are child molesters, and not all child molesters are pedophiles. Pedophile is, strictly speaking, is just somebody who has the sexual attraction to children. They may act
lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, pedosexual. That's making me extremely iffy right now. This is... Ever get such a cringe or you're so awkward feeling to the point where your face just freezes in this awkward smile?
Revelations 13:12, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakadah, the honors, the apostles, and those that great millstone. Salutations to you brothers out there doing the work of truth and sincerity. It's plain as day, America is Rome all over again, And thanks to the Spirit of the Lord, consuming the earth and bringing out the truth. We basically see that, it's evident, history repeats itself. It's not a mystery, it's history, and hey, we learn a lot from basically history, man. All right, so I pretty much have, too many scriptures. It was just an impromptu, some videos I ran into just to show you the the blatant comparison, the blatant parallels between Rome and America, and I got this scripture real quick because Revelation 17 is talking about Rome, and but it's talking about Rome, Britain, and America. So this is Revelation 17:11. It says, "And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth." All right, because the deadly wound, I think that's in Revelation 13. It was healed, and now America pretty much is taking on instead of the Roman culture, as you can see. When I read it, it says, "And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth, and is of the seven, and goeth into perdition." Okay, and goeth into destruction, and that's America's judgment. All right. Okay, so pretty much, and this is one of the main reasons why America is going to get destroyed. Okay, they're a deliberate, decadence. They're deliberate. The Most High in His ways, they're going to get destroyed, man. So the blood is on their hands. And this is John 7:7 because, Yahushua, he came to speak against these kingdoms. He came to prophesy of the kingdom to come, and hey, he had to speak against the Roman Empire because they represented everything that was pretty much, it was pretty much against the Most High's will, okay, against his way and that he intended the world to be, okay, under his law, under his 613 commandments. All right. So John 7:7, real quick, it says, "The world cannot hate you, but me it hateth, because I testify of it." All right, that the works thereof are evil. All right. So the Lord testified, just like all the prophets testified, okay, against the great kingdoms. It's just simple, man. Jeremiah 28:8 says, "The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence." All right. So there's an example of the prophets who, of aforetime, they prophesied and did the same thing Yahushua did, and people hate, because we rebuke the evil empire, this evil empire, okay? All right, because they, as the scriptures say, they hate him that rebuketh in the gate. All right, and that's Amos 5:10. It says they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. All right, and the Most High said his eyes are upon the sinful kingdom. So, and that's why people hate the prophets, because they speak against all the fun that they're having. They speak against the way they sustain themselves. We speak against the lust of this world. So, and likewise, Yahushua did the same thing during the time of the Romans, because they were doing all of the things that they're doing today. And during that time, those laws and pedophilia and all these, sexual, public sexual perversion and the law of perversion that they had set up, it was more, it was more out in the open. So people, I can just imagine how vexed certain individuals were, living in Rome, trying to get away from that Roman style life, So it's pretty much, it's parallels, and Salaki, I just put it together real quick, and hey man, this place is almost out of here, man. All right, let me see. All right, because the Lord is going to come. It's already written in stone, man. Just like the time of Daniel, many tekel a parson, the writings on the wall, and the Most High is he's slowly but surely getting this place to where it needs to be for that sort of destruction, man. So it's Amos 9:8. "Behold, the eyes of the Lord are upon this sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord." All right. And so what do you Christians have to say about that? You really don't have much to say. Okay. Because you guys are not in the spirit of prophecy. The same spirit the Lord came in, that, he testified, he testified against, the ways of the Roman Empire. Okay. And that's why we find that the Christians are pretty much in league with what's going on because they don't say anything about it. You know, they eschew judgment. All right. So Salakia. All right. Let me get one more scripture and I'm gonna close out. And Lord willing, you brothers and sisters will edify. You know. Second Esdras, no. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 10 and the 8th verse. All right. So like emails that I never opened. So Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. All right. And so unrighteous dealings, what do we have in America? Unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. You know, we can always look back to what happened to us during slavery and the rich families that still thrive today, how they pretty much profited off the backs of slaves. And in no way, shape, or form or fashion have they repaid, their slaves, the descendants of the slaves. Okay. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. All right. And it just so happens that we're at the end of the world, and the Lord is about to receive, his glory. All right. Which is to inherit the earth, and he's gonna put things back in order. Okay. And he's gonna take the kingdom, as the scripture said. Okay. The Lord said he's gonna take the kingdom. All right. The saints shall take the kingdom. So it's not going to be a situation where he's asking. There's going to be a hijacking, so to speak. All right. There's going to be a hijacking, But Daniel 7:18, it says, "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess it, and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever." All right. So that's what's going to happen, man. Okay. And this is part of the prophecy. This is part of the tidings of the kingdom. All right. Prophesying giving an introduction of the kingdom, speaking on the kingdom and its greatness, Hey, with that, I'm going to say Shalom. Double honors to the apostles and others at Great Millstone. Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashim, Rakakwadash, Bakathum. And call halal Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashim, Rakakwadash. Shalom.